Hey everybody, it's Rob. I'm a cheap comic collector, and happy Thanksgiving. Yeah, this is. I'm actually filming this about a week and a half before Thanksgiving, but I know that's when it's going to air, and I just wanted to wish everybody a happy Thanksgiving. I was thinking about possibly not uh, doing a holiday episodes, and just not posting videos those days, but on like Thanksgiving and Christmas. But throughout my life, I've had plenty of holidays where I've been lonely, depressed, sick, sometimes all three. So I decided, I go ahead and post it because this is the kind of content I would want to see if I was experiencing something like that this year, which I'm not, thankfully. But there's been years when I have. I remember there was one Christmas several years ago. I was basically forced to go work in Roswell, Georgia for my job. I didn't want to go, but I was the only guy that they felt could handle the assignment. I was actually setting up the first Andretti Speed Lab arcade, which was not done by Andretti Speed Lab at that time. They had contracted with the company I worked for to do the arcade for them. And I was supposed to go up there for a few weeks, and I ended up being up there for months and working like 95-hour weeks. And Christmas came around, and my mom was down here in Florida. I was in Georgia. And so she was alone. I was alone. And yeah, we talked on the phone a little bit, but yeah, I ended up stuck in my hotel room because nothing was open. I couldn't go out to eat. I couldn't. There wasn't even a place I could go to buy food. So I had nothing to eat on Christmas Day, except for some Christmas cookies that my mom had sent me, and it was yeah, I cried. It was terrible. Yeah, I was so exhausted from working all those hours, and then something like that. It was just exhausting, and I made a lot of money because I was working 95 hours a week, but and I wasn't on salary at that time either, so they had to pay me the overtime. And but yeah, eventually, I was able to come back to Florida, but it was a battle. And um, yeah. So anyway, and then there's been times too where, yeah, I work so hard at my job because I don't know how else to be. Yeah, I kind of grew up in poverty. I worked so hard to get myself out of poverty. Now I own my own house free and clear, and it's so when you're working hard, and you're working a lot of days, and you don't really have time off, and when a holiday comes along, and you have time off, your body doesn't know how to adjust. Sometimes you get sick, and it took me a few times to realize that there's a pattern here. Why do I keep getting sick on holidays when I have time off? And I finally realized that my body just didn't know. It was probably sick all along, but because I'm stupid, I would just work through it. and and so uh, so when it came time to decompress like that, I would get sick. And thankfully, that's no longer the case. I'm my own boss. I'm self-employed. I do my own thing, and I don't have to deal with any of that anymore. But I understand that people can go through that, and so if you are feeling anything like that, if you're depressed, if you're sick, it gets better. Work through it. Reach out for help if you need it. Because that's something that I'm, as a guy, I didn't do, and I should have. I should have reached out more to my relatives and my friends for even if it's just moral support. Talking to somebody on the phone. But anyway, so if you're going through anything like that, just take a break. It gets better, and and take care. So happy Thanksgiving. I hope you haven't. I hope you're not experiencing any of that. I hope it's a good day for you. I hope you're getting lots to eat. You're watching the Macy's parade and all that good stuff. So So today, what we are going to do, because people can watch this anytime, they don't have to watch it on Thanksgiving. Let me show you what I got here, what we're going to be doing. I'm actually going to go through Batman Eternal, kind of a closer look at Batman Eternal. And I have this new setup we're going to test out here on my desk. I got this, this is actually a T-square. I got it weighted down with a box of comic books. And I'm just going to put the phone up here like this and try and get it to focus here. There we go. And then let me go this way. And then in theory, I have both hands free. I don't have to stand up. I can sit down like I want to. And you guys can just see me go through the books. Let me grab them here. So, yeah, Batman Eternal was a weekly series from 2014, 2015. It was to celebrate the 75th anniversary of Batman. Oh, and this is Cheap Comic Collector number 161, by the way. Forgot to say that. And so yeah, there's some glare because of the lighting situation with this, doing it this way. But we actually went through number 1 quite a while back, which is what convinced me, it's probably a month or so ago, which convinced me to read the whole series. I thought I had the whole series, so I started reading it. Realized about halfway through I didn't have the whole series. I'm actually missing the last 7 issues. So I stopped reading it. Then I started reading it again. And then when I got done with the book issues I had, I just went online and finished reading it. So it's a good series. I enjoyed it. This is issue number 1. Not going to look at the inside on this one because we already did that in a previous episode. So we'll start with number 2. But in issue 1, basically the whole premise of the series is kind of an overlook of Batman and all his Bat buddies. And there's a mystery villain who is basically destroying Batman. He sets up Commissioner Gordon. Gordon goes into prison so that he no longer, Batman no longer has the resources of the Gotham City Police Department. It reintroduces, this is a New 52 series. It was a weekly series. And it reintroduces Jason Bard and Stephanie Brown, and probably some other characters that there's a few characters in here that, since I'm not used to modern comics, I'm not real clear on who they are. But anyway, this is number 2. Great covers throughout, most of them. And the first few issues were just fantastic. That's what convinced me to just keep writing through it. So it's got a multitude of writers. You got Scott Snyder and James Tynion the fourth are the main writers, but all the other Bat writers join in, and same thing with the art. The art changes throughout. It was, like I said, a weekly series, so they needed multiple artists. But the art is some issues like this one, it's phenomenal. Other ones not quite as great, but it's just a different style, which is kind of can be disconcerting when you're reading a ongoing series if they change the art too often. But anyway, we're just going to kind of take a look at the covers since it would take forever to go through all of them. This is number 3. You got the all kinds of stuff happens during this series. Arkham Asylum gets destroyed. They seize all of Bruce Wayne's assets, so he's broke. He's living in the Batcave because they move all the inmates from the asylum into Wayne Manor, and make that into the new Arkham Asylum. And this is number 4. And then occasionally it goes off on a tangent with Batgirl or Robin, and they're trying to discover who the mystery villain is, who's behind all this, because they realize somebody's behind it. It's number 5, number 6, and a lot of red herrings in here. I'm not going to give anything away too much about who's who and what's what. There's um, a lot of red herrings where they try to set it up so it looks like, oh, it's this villain or it's that villain, and as you read through, you kind of understand that no, it's not. It's too obvious. It's not going to be that person, and the person it does end up being is not somebody you expect. I didn't expect it, and a lot of times I can see stuff coming a mile away. So it caught me by surprise, which is a good thing. And it's a good series. I enjoyed it for a modern series. I really, really enjoyed this. Some of it is like I don't know who this is. Is this Penguin? Is it Falcone? I don't know who this is. I don't. So, like I said, some of the art is just not too crazy about it. They set up a new status quo for Catwoman, where she becomes the basically the leader of crime in Gotham City. She's the new crime boss. Batgirl almost kills Jason Barge. She's stopped by the Red Hood, and so she moves. I don't know. It sounded like she was just moving across the river or something, but basically it was setting up a new Batgirl series, and then there was also a new Catwoman series that I guess came out of this. So it probably interacts with the other Bat books of the time, which is why some of it didn't make sense to me. The series also introduces, or maybe reintroduces, Julia Pennyworth, who is Alfred's daughter. She's basically a secret agent for the British government, but she starts working with Batman because Alfred's out of commission. And but the covers are cool. The insides are cool. There's also a character that I wasn't familiar with called Bluebird, who kind of becomes a partner to Red Robin, sort of, at least in this series. And I wasn't familiar with that character at all. I don't remember ever even hearing about her before. So, and she starts out without a costume or anything, and then she just has one. So they probably did a lot of setup for her in the Robin series that I wasn't aware of. And also Jim Corrigan, the Spectra, makes an appearance in here. There's some what I want to say, they're mystical demons. There's actually demons who are like taking over an Arkham Asylum, and he goes in with I think it was Batwing. They go in and they investigate that, and there's just a whole lot of subplots. The story actually would have benefited from being shorter, because they go off on all these different tangents, and it's not really, a lot of it's not that much of a cohesive story because of that. So, but it starts off really well. It gets this is an interesting cover because it's basically just an owl or something sitting on a branch. But if you look closely, you can actually see the Riddler back here. And so yeah, Batman keeps going after all these different villains, thinking that they're the ones behind it, and none of them are. And at some point in the series, you're basically, well, why the heck doesn't he call in the Justice League? Why doesn't he call Superman? Why doesn't he call Wonder Woman? How come, you know, they're trying to save the city from gang wars? Is like, why don't they call in the Flash? He could have knocked them all out in 2 seconds, But you got to kind of ignore some of that stuff when when you're reading comics, because sometimes they'll play up all that, and then other times they'll just ignore it. So I had all the way up to issue 45, and then I read the last 7 online. Just good stuff. It was good. It started out, like I said, it started out really well, and then it kind of the story wasn't as cohesive as I would have liked, because it kind of went off. It followed Batgirl for a couple of issues, and then it'd follow Robin for a couple of issues, and the subplots would kind of weave in and out without a good resolution for them. Which is why I imagine that there was more story in the other Bat books that kind of dovetailed into this story. So that's a good, and then but then the end issues, here where I ended at 45, this one ends with it looking like it's Ra's al Ghul behind everything. He's not. And then so the next issue reveals basically that he's not behind it. And then the next 6 issues just blow it out of the park. It's really, really good. Great beginning, great ending. Pretty good in the middle. It just went on too long. They had too much space to fill for the story they were telling. But good series, really good. Highly recommend it. And that's not something I do very often for modern comics. So it was really good. If you liked the TV series Gotham that was on Fox back when this was coming out, it kind of reminds you of that a little bit, because you got all these villains operating in Gotham and so on and so forth. So so it kind of matched that a little. But it did remind me of it, and it doesn't hurt that there's like these huge ads for Gotham in all these issues, because it was the time that was on the air. So that was a good series too. It was different. You had to kind of, it wasn't true to the comics, but nothing is. So anyway, that's pretty much it. Batman Eternal gets an A in my book, not an A plus, but an A. Just great stuff. So thank you for watching. Happy Thanksgiving. And tomorrow, what am I doing tomorrow? Let me look at my chart here. Tomorrow is, more Batman. Yeah, I got a whole short box of Batman, basically Bat books, and so we'll be starting that. We'll start to go through those, and tomorrow. And so, yeah, we drop a new video every day at noon. Please like, please subscribe. And, yeah, happy Thanksgiving. Thank you for watching. I've got a lot to be thankful for now that I have my house paid off. I finally can relax after all these years, and I get to enjoy comic books again. But one thing, I'm thankful that I was able to get to a point where I could take care of my mom at home. But also this year, and as corny as it sounds, I am so thankful for this channel and you guys watching. Means a lot. It's like I said, I'm still kind of lonely because I have to stay home all the time and take care of my mom. So this channel is super, super therapy for me. I'm basically, I'm thankful for all of you. So thanks for watching, and we'll see you tomorrow.